didn't plan on filming this, but I hit rock really early. I set like 25 foot of casing. There's the old bored well. See all the water? We blew out this well. I don't know if there's a door on it. No, there's not. And the lid on it's way too heavy. We just blew out of the well that's inside of this house. Maybe later we'll be able to open it up and see what's what. But it sucks because it's taking all my air away. I get down to the bottom of the hole and all of my cuttings stop coming out. Really sketchy. Going on here. So notice how the casing's rotating. Well, the minute that I get about 5 foot below the casing, I'm running into the same aquifer that's feeding the well next door to me. And then all the big chips start breaking off in large chunks, and it locks the hammer and the drill rod into the casing. So luckily, I've only got about 24 foot of casing on there, so I can pull that out all in one piece. We haven't broken any casing yet, but we need to set the casing deeper than the water in the other well, just to where we don't get that same quality of water. Kind of sucks. I was told it's a bored well, but it does not act like a bored well. It acts like a really shallow punched well, like with a cable machine. I was told it was a 30-foot bored well, and then I hit rock at 15 foot. I'm like, all right, I'll set 25 foot of casing and we'll be good. Then I told Jackson it was going to be about a 50-50 shot if we were going to have to pull casing or not. Well, looks like we got to pull casing. Doesn't look like it. Never fun having to pull casing, go back down over a hole you've already cut and ream the hole out. You risk letting the carbides kind of pop out of the end of your bit.
Now, for those who don't understand exactly what's happening here, the air power, the air pressure that I use to drill is going out through the vein over to the other well. Instead of allowing my chips to come up, they're going horizontally towards the other well, and then they kind of flush back into the well with the water, and then all the rock chips and gravel come back in, and that's what's locking the hammer in. It's because there's another well so close to me that's causing me all of this trouble.
Let's see. What did we blow up? It sure as hell got everything wet. Okay, yeah, look what it did. It probably blew it out of the other hole in the well seal. It lifted it up a little bit. Man, what a mess. So all of my air is coming over here and coming out of this. That's why it's trapping me in the hole.
Now, if you notice the dirty spot on the drill rod, there's only about 1 foot left. Now, my initial 6-inch hole that I'm trying to ream out larger to 10 inches, that's right where that other hole stops. So I need to get about another 12 inches, and then all my struggles will go away.
Normally, when we're drilling, we do like 600 to 700 pounds of rotation pressure. I'm jumping all the way upwards of 1100. Then it'll spike a whole lot higher than that. It'll spike up to about 1500. That's where I start risking breaking the head off the end of the bit. Definitely don't want to do that. But what I'm doing, I get higher rotations because I'm spinning the rod so much faster than normal. Well, that's helping to not get the bit trapped in the hole. And I just, with this knob here, I don't push down as hard. I just barely ease into it. But you can tell right here on the rod, right here, that's where I had already drilled the 6-inch hole. Everything has gotten smoother once I get to this point right here. Watch, put a collar on it, you'll be able to see it'll drill smooth as soon as I hit that spot. What we're experiencing here is once the hole gets pressurized and full of grit, full of rock, what we have here is black granite. It's all black granite. That's why it's so rough and so jagged and broken. The well next door, it ends up taking some of these cuttings. And that's what's trapped me in the hole. The aquifer that feeds the well next door is actually dumping rock back into me. Instead of letting all the air come out of this hole, some of the air is going out of that hole. Then it comes back and traps me in. See, I didn't even have it hang up anymore. That's telling me the hole's a lot cleaner and a lot clearer. But the rock in and of itself is still just as jagged. It's not coming out like really smooth, fine rock. It's coming out like nasty rock. Like, look at the size of this stuff. I don't know if y'all can see that. I mean, just look at it. It's huge. It's supposed to come out like powder, kind of like sand. No, we're getting stuff that's bigger than 57 stone. But that's what's locking me in. That is a surface vein, right? So the well that was drilled here back in the 50s, they drilled down and found surface water, and a lot of it. But now, only 35 feet deep, it's not producing enough water. It's kind of crazy that I haven't had it lock up again and blow water out of the other hole. But maybe I basically just emptied the other hole out. That helped evacuate all of the chips that were down in there, kind of rolling around the bit, around the hammer, that were struggling to get out because, see, we're losing air out of the other hole. So if we start drilling again, you'll notice for a bit, there's no air coming out. That's what makes me nervous. When you don't have the air come out of the hole that you're drilling, that's how you trap yourself. The minute you stop getting air, you stop going down. You've got to not drill it any deeper because all you're doing is locking yourself in the hole tighter and tighter and tighter. That's the nerve-wracking part about all of this, because I know exactly what can happen. I don't want to lock it in on this hole. So what we're doing here, because we had set casing early, it chewed the shit up out of the casing. See how bad that scarring is? I was originally going to knock this off and stick the metal casing on the end of it, but we can chop off like 2 foot.
I'll cut it off. Oh, do I need to go up further?
No, you're fine. I'm gonna set, you know, we're at like 42 right now. We got 47, 49 for the casing realistically out. So I can theoretically stop wherever.
That's good at 47.
That's just really, really broken rock up top. Made me nervous. 6 inches at a time.
They told me it was a board well.
Yeah, it told me it was a bored well too.
The guy just wouldn't stick the well was the one where the 4 Mexicans ran into the well and you took it.
I remember that, yeah. Y'all remember that video too. The 4 kids that ran away from the cops and ended up blowing into the pump house. That was a rather popular video. That's good, nothing crazy happening anymore. Alright, I had just ran my foam out. I had it on way too high, and I lost prime on my water pump, so I had to stop. I had to let the hole blow clean anyway. But it's good. It's not hanging up. It's not catching up. Very happy, very excited. It had my heart rate pumping for a while. The reason we want to go down to 47 is because the minute I put on the small bit, that extension goes to 45. So that way, when I go to hook up my 60-foot rod, I can drill a total of 18 feet. Getting the bit that far out of the casing. If I stop at like 43 foot, then I have to leave the hammer and the bit and all that. I can only drill 2 foot. So that's why I'm drilling the 47 foot, is to where I can get the 6-inch hammer and bit out of the casing when I initially start that process. A lot of times you can hang a bit inside the casing like you saw earlier. That was the nightmare part. I was lucky I didn't destroy that casing. Alright, I got about another 12 inches and then we're going to set casing. Oh, well, yeah, look, another big one. It's not that big. Come up above. Alright, we got the hammer all pulled out. It's time to put casing in. I wanted to show you this hole. It really waddled out the upper portion. Look at it. That's crazy.
What we're doing here is making sure that the casing is all the way on the bottom. We put the J-wrench on, and then we basically take the weight of the drill rods and we push on the casing to make sure the casing is sitting firmly on the bottom.
45 minutes. Right now I'm currently 120 foot in the hole, and I tested it a little bit ago, right around 100 foot, and it was making about 2 gallons a minute. But it looks like it maybe has slacked off. So those little areas that were feeding it a decent amount of water have slowed down. So we're just gonna keep drilling, and hopefully we find a big old vein of water down there somewhere. Alright, that's the bottom. Alright, that flushed the hole. That's good. Go ahead and bring it on up. Just going to bring it all the way back up 20 foot. We'll bring it back through both of those fractured zones. And we'll go back down and keep drilling. See, I can feel it in my feet. Anytime I hang something, you can feel the rattle in your feet. Y'all can't really tell on the screen or watching at home, but there's so much about drilling is what you listen to and what you can feel. Alright, we're going to turn our water back. Come over here, turn our water off. All these chips, going to blow them off. Good. Stop the rotation on a flat. Boom. Push the holdout ridge out. Lower the rod down. Water's off. Big air off. Little air. Takes a while to close the valve. And then blow down. Right. We unspin it. Lift it. Cap it. And grease it. Ready for another one. We're currently about 265 feet, only making about a gallon a minute right now. Because of the situation at the beginning of the video where we had to basically reset casing twice, I ended up having to use a lot more water than necessary. So I'm actually running light on water in this truck. Now, the lay of the land, the way it was, the water was kind of distributed over here on this side, and this side is our hookup for the grouter. And we've only got about 1/8 of a tank here. And earlier we had more, so what I did, I put wood underneath the front wheels to elevate the front up about 6 inches to get the water to flow towards the back. That'll give me about another 150, 175 gallons of water towards the rear that I can keep drilling with. Over here, that's empty. Let's see what we got over here in the back. I'm almost at a quarter. A quarter would be about 275. So I think I can cut a rod with about 35 gallons of water. So I can cut about 3 more rods and still have enough to grout. Just barely. So I'm trying to utilize every little bit of water that I got. If that well made enough water, I'd just grab a hose and start filling the truck. But a 35-foot well with a 25-foot static level, I don't see us getting much water out of it. Well, all we can do is keep going down. Well, it's about 4:30, almost 5 in the afternoon. We'll be at 325 at the end of that rod. I just measured the water flow. It's making about 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons a minute. So since this is just for the cattle, talked to the farmer. I told him, you know, we'll stop at 325. He can put a pump at 300 foot and just let it roll. We're about 100 foot beyond what he had the funds to do, so he doesn't want to spend too much money in it. And as far as it being just an ag well, I think it'll suffice just enough to run the jug waters and the little ball waters. Those are essentially just going to feel like a toilet, you know. There's no hard hit on those things. It's just a slight steady draw as the cows need water. So hopefully it'll work. But good well. Real tough start, but a good well. But we're running out of daylight and I'm running out of battery. So I'm going to put my phone on the charger. We're going to trip out, get it all grouted, and then we'll get on out of here. Well guys, that's going to be it for today. We all tripped out, got it all grouted. Everything looks good. Put a little grit in on top of it. He said he's going to come here with a tractor and scoop it all off. So he's going to wipe out probably the top 1 foot layer of my grout. And I think he's going to put a concrete slab around it. I'm not sure, so I'm leaving the casing high just in case he does put a slab around it. But it's amazing that when we hit this thing, it lifted the damn wood up some and water was coming out all sides of it. That was amazing. The well wasn't deep enough for it to have the volume to really hurt anything, because the hole's only 35 foot, so you're only talking like at the most 55 or 65 gallons of water that's going to shoot out of that hole at 250 psi. But yeah, kind of crazy. That's the first time I've ever seen one actually blow out like that drilling next to it. I've had them interconnect, but I've not had them so shallow before I set casing to where it actually does that. But yeah, wow. I bet he wished the water that this made was that one. Well, that's the difference between surface water and then good aquifer water. That's why older wells from the 60s and the 70s were shallower and they made water, but they just don't make good quality water. And now that one's starting to go dry. But all right, that's it. Time to go. Well, folks, just want to say thanks for tuning in to the H2O Mechanic YouTube channel. I've got 9 fake TikTok accounts robbing my stuff. So if you're watching me on TikTok, they'll probably edit this part out, to be completely honest, but ain't nothing I can do about it. They just copy my stuff and download it on TikTok. But yeah, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That way, you know, you help promote and support me rather than people just copying my stuff. I've actually watched some of my videos on TikTok and they've just sped them up to 1.5 times, so I sound like a chipmunk, honestly. But I'm not too mad about it. It is what it is. I don't have enough time in the day to sit here and be like, you know, oh, that's my social media content, blah, blah, blah. Because I just do social media, YouTube, for the fun of it. And, you know, my job is to take over the family business. And that's what I'm doing. So, for me, you know, I get people recommending different things. Oh, set up 4 cameras and do this and do that. I don't have the time in the day to edit. I just use my cell phone, you know, a mount that I found the most effective for me, and I just move it around. So all the angles that you see is me stopping and moving the camera and doing this and doing that. And I know it's loud. I work all day with earplugs in. There's nothing I can do about the sound. I've actually got drill rods coming in that are special for quiet. They're supposed to be quieter, 60% quieter. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of months. We'll do a comparison of all 3 different style drill rods that we have. And I don't know. But like I said, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Help me get the channel to about, I don't know, 250,000 subscribers. I'd say that's a pretty good round number. I think we could make that happen before 2026. Especially based off of this past video. So this video, it's always the bad ones that bring in the large amounts of views. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if not, be sure to at least give it a thumbs up. So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.